Today I'm sharing from Elkhart tolle consciousness. Audio-visual stimuli moving from conception to perception. Is it a table if no one perceives it as a table? Horizontal dimension is the world. We have to get to the vertical, which is the world is inside me. Without the mind, there's no world. Without recognizing this, it can seem threatening and unfulfilling. If the world gets too painful and unsatisfying, it can feel like demons, self-sabotaging. Nothing brings lasting happiness, and there's always a crash to emptiness. In the horizontal dimension, there's always underlying fear. We have to go to the vertical, which is the present moment. It's the portal into it where we can find it and can be rooted in it and get out of the useless thought forms and get unhypnotized by the fear-mongering commentators. And it's like noticing the end of constant humming that was going on for hours, even days. The vertical represents depth, the vertical, and the cross is the intersecting of the vertical and the horizontal. Suffering is caused by thought forms that are already within. We can stop thinking, but we're conscious, and the mind tells us we cannot stop thinking. I'm going to share what PMDD was for me. This is written about 5 years ago, but it's still something that can rear its head in my life. PMDD is premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which is like the opposite of euphoria before getting the period, the woman's menstruation. What's been helping me more than anything is doing deep healing work of my darkness that I compartmentalize. Guilt, shame, pride, and anger, needing to blame others, which is giving my power away and makes me feel powerless. Arrogance, possessiveness, competitiveness, shortage, fear, anxiety, and worry. I'm being 100% honest. That's what helps me, to be totally honest. It's a few days before my period, and yes, I was resting a little more, but I'm not suffering the way I used to. I wouldn't even say I have 70 to 80% of the symptoms I used to because I've been doing the work, mostly spiritual connection, for a long time now. Enough that it's truly making a difference. These triggers are a chance to heal and bring some light in when doing shadow work, like a safety rope to a support group, therapist, and mentor. To rebuild the body with love, cut out the cancerous belief systems inherited or that were conditioned being deep in the underground. Codependency is when empaths and narcissists are both codependents because they're unable to self-validate or self-soothe or maintain self-worth and self-esteem. They're just doing what worked in childhood to matter. No one is inherently the bad guy, just underdeveloped emotionally. I cannot set boundaries between self and other, and I cannot handle boundaries between self and other, which is what I was healing in my toxicity. I was able to stop attracting in both kinds. We attract what we are. Our souls bring the lessons. As soon as I could imagine not needing someone else for my validation, worth, esteem, and soothing, the healing began. And then I wrote it almost like a poem, ready. For a pure heart, ready to unload guilt and conditioning of what's bad, ready to receive love, ready to release Shia, which was a man that I felt had hijacked my system a little bit, ready for the loving, inspiring, divine, genuine, positive people I've been attracting into my life, ready to outgrow the me that craves approval, ready to feel accepted and belonging, ready to enjoy the rewards of courage, ready to make super radiance with others, ready to learn from those wiser than me, ready to know only what I do and nothing more, ready for more light in my life, and ready to believe I'm doing a good job, and ready to give free approval, ready to put myself out there without attachment to outcome or reception, ready to move on from anything that isn't giving me energy, ready to put myself out there without needing credit, recognition, or even acknowledgement, ready to never dim my light for anyone again, ready to believe in my intuition, ready to believe my intuition, ready to commit to a future of being of service. And then there's something called tolerance. I was inspired by Michael Beckwith, which is on True Soul Manifesting. Actually, that's, the tolerance is not. I will first share the tolerance, and then I will share the Michael Beckwith, True Manifesting with the Soul tomorrow. Tolerance, God willing. Tolerance is living in peace so everyone around can be in peace, accepting that I won't see eye to eye with anyone exactly, remembering that no one is inherently or totally bad, confronting the unfriendliness, strangeness, and differences with the attitude of looking at my own version of me that could be like someone else looking at their own version. We are all in life without our space, body, and energy, doing our own things for individual development. We don't have to validate ourselves codependently. We can be okay with doing our own thing, and awareness means we cannot unsee it again. We can be an instrument for others' growth, but not need them to approve of us, and not need to approve of them. There's nothing to be afraid of, and we can take a step back if necessary and ask ourselves, what do I need to learn? There's no competition when we recognize when we're done. We can stay satisfied without focusing on lack. Instead, we can focus on where we may be intolerant, not where others are. Listening is love. We can tense and release. When we feel tension, we can tense up even more and then release all of it. We can use our radar sense to figure out what else may be affecting us, making us edgy, grating on us, etc. And remember always, this too shall pass. There's a mantra which is to elevate. For example, Lev Tahar, which is a pure heart. Or in Sanskrit, they had like Om, Hrim, Shrim, Dum, Dogaye, Namaha, which is the same kind of thing. But it's not necessary to say all that when you just say Lev Tahar, pure heart. And I will share with one last thing here, which is the fear of rejection. That could be saying goodbye, having someone say goodbye, not being enough, feeling fat or ugly, gross or smelly, being too positive for being and not self-aware, being taken for granted, underappreciated, talking too much, being needy, disappointing the other, the fear of leaving comfort zone. And I don't have control over, and this is all about the theme, that I don't have control over whether someone will reject me or accept me. Boundaries, the people who reject me feel super relieving, but then follow with tremendous guilt about, remember this is from a few years ago, I'm still working on it, but I made it so much progress, so it's worth it for me to share. Tremendous guilt about responding to those who reject me with rejecting them. I'll repeat that. Boundaries with people who reject me make me feel super relieved, but then follow with tremendous guilt about responding to those who reject me with rejecting them. And then a terrible fear that it might be the last communication before they die or I die, or it's a thing that pushes someone over the edge. I can't do the work for anyone else though. And it really triggers me when I see someone else, when I see someone as other and then find things wrong with them. I start polarizing and generalizing defensively. And also I feel like pity feels like rejection for some reason. And I was never feeling like I was so popular or sought after. But I'm able to see I matter, I'm good enough, worthy and deserving of love, inherently lovable. And I've got wonderful qualities, I'm rare and unique, and I'm not for everyone. It'll never be enough approval. It has to be from within. There's nothing wrong with me. If someone is fake or judgmental, behaving from insecurity, then all I have to do is have compassion, first for myself, then for someone who's needing to reject to gain control. And I'll stop there, and God willing, continue tomorrow with similar topics.